NFL Films? Y'all gonna put me on? From a personality standpoint, TJ is gonna talk. He's gonna tell you exactly how he feels. Wake up, Cam! Wake up, Cam! Wake up! TJ Ward! My people. It's TJ Ward, man. You back here with Safety First Show. And man, what a barn burner we had Sunday Night Football. The Niners and the Bears came down to the final drive with Caleb Williams' unsuccessful scoring opportunity. 38-42 was the final score, and the San Francisco 49ers won the game. But hey, it wasn't all fun and games because it seems like the defenses for neither team showed up. And if you ask me, that's a boring game to the end because at some point, somebody got to get a stop. And that's what makes these games so intriguing. That's what gets your blood going, is what defense is finally going to get a stop. You can score and score and score and score and score. Like, I'm tired of watching it. I'm tired of watching it until we see some competitive stops when it matters. And when it mattered, the Niners got the job done at home in front of the Bay Area crowd. Did y'all know the Super Bowl was going to be in the Bay Area this year? Do you think the Niners will be in the Super Bowl at home this year? The NFC is shaping up to be quite competitive when you look at it. You got Seattle, the Bears, who just took a loss, Philly, San Francisco, LA, Carolina, and I'll even throw Green Bay in there, even though they just got stomped and just lost their second string quarterback and now down to their third. So if you ask me, they don't have a snowball's chance in hell. But it's all right. It's all right. Let's get back to this Sunday Night Football game, man. Brock Purdy was 24 for 33 and 303 yards with 5 total TDs. My dog was dug in off the field. He just swagged out. He was feeling himself. He knew he was going to win that game. He knew he was going to win that game. You know why? Because the quarterback on the other side was Caleb Williams. That's why he knew he was going to win that game. When it counts, he knew that he would get the job done and Caleb Williams wouldn't. And I knew it too. I knew Caleb Williams wasn't going to get it done in the eyes of defeat. In the jaws of defeat, we knew Caleb Williams would not get the job done. And he didn't. Even though he threw for 303 yards, threw the ball 42 times with almost just 50%. Swift had a good game, 9 for 54, 2 for 25 receiving and 2 DDs. He pretty much does what he does. But Luther Burden actually had a hell of a game. It started to look like that first round pick that we were waiting for. That's 8 for 138 and 1 TD. But he had key drops in key moments, which you cannot have. But hey, Purdy shows Williams that it's levels to this, man. If you want to be a top tier quarterback and you want to get deep into these playoffs, you have to close games out. And I know what you're thinking, TJ, what about when we played Green Bay and he Look at Green Bay. Green Bay, look, y'all got lucky. I'm going to keep it a buck. Y'all got lucky. Your defense didn't get the turnovers that you usually been getting. And what happens to your defense usually when they don't get turnovers? They get their ass shredded. And that's what happened. They got shredded. But a team that really is built for these playoffs and a head coach that's really built for these playoffs in championship form, they beat y'all without key players. They beat you without Brock Purdy's number one target, his best friend. They beat you without Kittle. And let's not even talk about the defense. But either way, Fred Warner was out. He been out the whole season. But you had some other players that step up. Now, they still couldn't tackle or cover nobody in the back end. Golly. I mean, the only really player that's left on that back end is Lenore. And he's been doing his thing trying to solidify the rest of the secondary. But man, you guys got to step it up in the back end, especially them safeties, man. Them safeties, woo, hey. They've been having some rough outings. I'm going to just keep it nice. They've been having some rough outings, but at the end, they stepped up and they kept their coverage intact and they made some pretty good tackles. They missed I don't know what they did. I'm going to keep it a buck. They may have just got lucky, but from what I've seen, they got to stop at the end of the game. And what really helped that last drive, and most importantly, that last play was the contained rush, man. Do not let Caleb, little chubby butt, get outside and scramble, because that's what he wants to do. And I hate watching him scramble. He just looks like a fast kid. Like, it bothers me. He look like a little penguin with speed. It's annoying. But I know you Chicago Bears fans gonna get on me talking about he did this and he did that, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, you have to win games like that if you're gonna step up to that next level and call yourself one of the best quarterbacks in this league. And Brock Purdy did that tonight. I know he was at home and he had the home field advantage and the crowd and everything. Caleb has some drops, but what quarterback doesn't have drops from his receiver? You see it all the time. You have to overcome those drops. And that's not even start with the last drive, the drive before that. You go touchdown for touchdown. This is a touchdown for touchdown game. You kicked the field goal. You didn't score a touchdown on the second of the last drive. Brock Purdy got the ball and said, hey, kid, let me show you how this done. Went down, scored a touchdown, and said, hey, match that. Go get 6 or 7 and put them on the board and see if you could win this game. And you couldn't. So great game by the Niners offensively. Both defenses sucked, and Caleb Williams couldn't finish the game, and that's why they're going home back to Chicago with a loss. And now this really shakes up the NFC because the Niners got Seattle next week. Seattle coming off a win this past weekend as well. So that NFC West is, man, they kicking ass. I'm not even going to hold you. The Rams, the Seahawks, the Niners, and the other team, the Cardinals, I don't know if they might want to move to the East Coast the way they playing. Shit, they not in the NFC West the way they playing some football right now. But the NFC, Chicago, you guys still holding tight. You won the NFC North since Green Bay took that tragic loss to the Ravens. But Philly had a big win. And Carolina is still in the mix. You can't count them out, even though they're in the worst division in the NFC and they're 8-8. They still have the opportunity to win the division next week against Tampa Bay. And then once you get in the playoffs and have that first round at home, really anything can happen. So can't count the Carolina Panthers out either. So, but on to the next. Bears, man, I don't think you're going to go too far in the playoffs playing like that, man. Playoff is a defensive game, man. You got to be able to hold tight on defense, and at the end, you got to be able to win the game. And that separates the great quarterbacks from the good quarterbacks and okay quarterbacks, man. That's it, man. Now, big game in the AFC North, which was the Browns versus the Steelers. And what a rivalry, man. I remember this rivalry. I was usually on the losing end, but when we were in Cleveland, when we did get the Steelers, man, it was like our little, I wouldn't call it no Super Bowl or nothing, but it's like winning a playoff game, kind of. If I ever been to a playoff game in Cleveland, I would imagine that's what it felt like. But no, good game, man, from the Browns. Good game from Shedeur. I think in certain aspects of the game, the Browns could have been better to make the win a little bit easier, but nonetheless, a win is a win. And hey, Shedeur outdueled Rodgers. I don't care what you say. He played better than Aaron Rodgers. Now, you may say, well, Cleveland's defense is better than the Steelers. Who says? And not in the last few weeks, they sure haven't been. But this week, they showed up. Myles Garrett showed up. Mason Graham, their first round pick, he was everywhere from the inside. Alex Wright, he had a couple of big plays, one big sack. And let's talk about the secondary playing a lot better and tackling a lot better than they have been. And you could attribute that to having Denzel Ward back, their leader in the secondary, and he played out his mind. He's a Pro Bowler, fifth-year Pro Bowl, five-time Pro Bowler this year. But the trade, Tyson Campbell with his best game of the season. And I was questioning that trade because Greg Newsome, the third, was balling. He was balling. And I really thought that him and Denzel Ward were arguably the best cornerback tandem in the league. And that's why Jacksonville wanted them so bad. It's like, we need another shutdown. We need a shutdown corner out here in Jacksonville. And he's over there balling right now. But Tyson, he stepped up today. Now, Steelers didn't really have a number one guy out there. DK got suspended for the reasons we all know with the fan interaction. But nonetheless, whenever they went at him, it was pretty much shut down. He was tackling. He was um, in tune with his assignments. The communication was there with him and the rest of the secondary. So he really did his thing. He really did his thing. Now, A-Rod, man, this is not going to get it. You got the Ravens next week. They trying to get the division. You throwing the ball 40 times for 168 yards. That's not going to get it. It's not going to get it. And on top of it, you didn't throw no touchdowns or interceptions, but you didn't throw no touchdowns, which you can't get a touchdown against the Browns, man. You guys are in trouble. If you think you're going to win this division or that division, the AFC North, playing the way you played, that's not going to happen. Shedeur, my dog, Sanders went 17 of 23 for 186. 1 TD, 2 interceptions, almost was 3 interceptions. But, you know, sometimes the football gods bless you in that way. And everybody gets blessed here or there. It was an ugly, rainy, windy game, and that's what happens. Close divisional matchup. It's all about how you win the game, when you win the game, in the key moments, right? The Steelers only had 291 total yards. You know, that's 131 rushing and 160 passing. So, you know, altogether, they didn't perform well as a total offense, right? They almost had as much rushing yards as they did passing yards, which, you know, that's not going to get you any wins in the NFL. As much as I like to see the running game, you know, help and promote the passing game, you cannot have more rushing yards than you do passing yards. And if you do, you better win the game. That should be the recipe for winning the game if that's the case. The Browns only had 262 total yards. That's neither here nor there. We're going to talk about some key moments in the game, right? They had about the same time of possession, but who cares about that too? Who cares, right? What I'm going to go to is the Steelers in field goals, right? The Browns were 2 for 2, no missed field goals. The Steelers missed a field goal early. They were 2 for 3. And special teams, we all know, and I tell you guys all the time, I say on the gridiron too, special teams in these type of matchups and going into the playoffs determines wins and losses. Whether it's on the return game, whether it's in the kicking game, it determines wins and losses. It determines field position. It allows your offense to have easier opportunities to score. It's all about field position in these type of ugly, close games. And if you out there missing field goals, that doesn't help. Now, Shedeur and Fanning Jr., they are becoming a deadly duo. And the more time they have together, the better they're going to get. They're going to look like Brady and Gronk. They're going to look like Kelsey and Mahomes. They're going to look like Rivers and Antonio Gates. Thanks, Jerm. They're going to look like Rivers and Antonio Gates and whoever else you want to put out there as a great tight end quarterback duo. And every quarterback, look at Josh Allen. Who are his safety nets? Kincaid and Knox. You have to have a good relationship with your tight end, and he has to be your safety net in this NFL. It's just the way it is. The new NFL, the old NFL, whatever it is, that tight end is a quarterback safety net, and they are developing a great chemistry and a great relationship. Now, my issues, right? When you get in field goal range, especially when it's around midfield or 40 to 50-yard field goal, kick the ball, man. It was 4th and 7. And this is where Stefanski pisses me off. It's 3rd and long. We get it to 4th and 7. And Shedeur celebrates because it was a great run to get some of that yardage back, but he knows they were in field goal range. Everyone knew we were in field goal range. What does Stefanski do? He goes for it on 4th and 7. And I know the analytics couldn't have said go for that. And you can't tell me that the field goal was too long because you just kicked a similar distance field goal when you put points on the board for the first time early in the game, when you went up 3-0. Kick the field goal, take the points. Take the points. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is why people can't get with what Stefanski's doing. It's things like this, right? Now, Shedeur, I talked about him throwing 2 picks. One of the picks came off tip pass, right? Came off the tip pass, linebacker picked it in the flat. The other one came out when he was scrambling, and this left tackle they got, Cam Robertson. God, dog, brother. I literally think I could probably block better than this guy. I mean, the times that there's no pressure from that blind side is because there's a chip or a tandem, or the defense does some type of stunt that really goes inside. But other than that, mano y mano, they are running right past him. And it makes no sense. Like, I really don't understand it. I don't see a left tackle in football blocking as bad as him. It almost looks, I dare to say, intentional. Like, it's that bad. It's like that bad, man. We might want to check his phone history, check his parlays, because this is ridiculous. God, dog. But anyway, Shedeur rolls out to the right. And mind you, Shedeur been lacing shit all game. He been lacing shit all game. He throws a ball to Judy that, you giving your receiver opportunity to make a play. If not, if he don't catch it, no one else catch it. Judy, you cannot let that ball get picked off. Now, was it a bad throw? Yes. Were you one-on-one with the opportunity to at least make it incomplete? Yes. You have to do more for your quarterback than just give up on that play, man. Like, don't let the DB catch it. Now you have to turn it to the DB. If you can't catch it, no one catches it. And it's not like he went and jumped over you for the ball. He caught it right here. He caught it right here, bro. Break that pass up. Help your quarterback out and get to the next play, man. That's ridiculous, bro. Help your quarterback out. Now, Pittsburgh last drive kind of scared me. They went right down the field, and I was worried. I'm like, dang, the Browns going brown, right? But they didn't break. They bent, but they didn't break. And my dog Denzel Ward, he said the same thing I think we was all thinking. I don't know whose bright idea it was to try me for the game on 3 plays in a row. Hey, brother, I'm with you. Who drew up that last game plan and plays call to go at the all-pro 5-time Pro Bowler 3 times in a row with a subpar receiver? Like, y'all just didn't even try to go nowhere else on the field. Like, nowhere else on the field. And even to players that you were having success with in the game, your running back, your tight end, you went straight to Denzel Ward, which is baffling to me. It's very baffling. And that's another reason why you didn't win at the end of the game. So, hey, shout out to the Browns winning. And, like, now I'm looking at the Steelers. Like, hey, do you win the AFC North? Do the Steelers even deserve, or can they win in the AFC North, man? Like, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. But the Ravens, like I said, they beat Green Bay down, but Green Bay beat on them too. Green Bay just didn't win. Like, Green Bay was going crazy. The Ravens defense can't stop anyone, and that's a fact. But it looks like the Pittsburgh offense can't score on anyone. So it's going to be a great matchup like we had in Baltimore a few weeks ago. But hopefully the refs don't get involved in this one and ruin the game for everyone. So I think this is going to be a very tight game again. And I got the Ravens. The way the Pittsburgh Steelers played against the Browns, it's hard for me to see them winning. They don't have DK as even a threat. Their defense is par at best right now. I don't think their defense is playing very well. They're definitely not getting the ball and turn. Well, actually, they had 2 picks, and they almost had 3 to the crib. If they could score actually on defense, they got a shot. But I'm gonna tell you what: if they don't stop the run, and Derrick Henry, who was 36 rushes for 216 yards and no fumbles, he finally didn't fumble, and the Ravens could stop from turning the ball over, I got the Ravens. I got the Ravens. Just based off of what these teams have done this past week and the last matchup. I think the Ravens were in more than great position to win the last matchup. They got a TD call back. and a couple of other calls that didn't go in their favor that really should have. So based on those facts alone, I have the Ravens still winning the AFC North and winning that division. But like I said, at some point, that Ravens secondary has to stop a nosebleed. Malik Willis, before he missed almost the entire fourth quarter, was 18 to 21 for 300 yards, 288. Like 18 for 21? That's like 707 stats. Like, that's crazy. Back up. But hey, man, this division, whoever gets in, they don't really have a shot to do anything. Like, they're gonna lose. Whoever gets in and wins this AFC North probably will lose in the first round at home. I'm just, calling a spade a spade. That's what it is. Let's talk about my Broncos. I'm tired of saying let's talk about. On to these Broncos, who had a Thursday night divisional game. I love how the NFL is ending the season with divisional matchups, because back in the day, if you don't remember, they used to not end the season with divisional matchups, and teams will rest everybody, and the last few games of the season will be whack because everybody was resting, getting ready for the playoffs. Now, this shit really mattered towards the end. You winning the division or losing the division in the last game of the season a lot of times. Or if you already cemented a playoff spot, you trying to get home field advantage, and you're trying to win the total conference like these Broncos are, right? And I still have the Broncos as the AFC favorite and to win the AFC as the conference as whole. We're going to take it back to 2015. We're going to take it back, way back in the time. But nah, hey, I know what y'all thinking out there. And you've been talking shit on X and Instagram and in my comments and bothering me about how we win. Oh, they barely beat the Chiefs when the Chiefs had a backup quarterback who ain't played and this and that and blah, 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 blase. Hey, buddies, guess what? We won the game 20-13. Now, we did come in sleep. We definitely came in sleep. I was like, damn, these boys better wake up, because they definitely showed up like, hey, we just going to show up and win the game. The Chiefs were playing with Chris Oladokun, who is not very good. I'm not going to hold you. But who is pretty good still is their defense. Their defense is still pretty good. They got Chris Jones. They got, what's my dog at linebacker, number 32? Bolden. He's a baller. And they got, some good safety play, good cornerback play, and they got Spagnuolo. Most important, Spagnuolo calling the defense. So they got players at every level. And to add to that, it's a divisional game. They want to knock the Broncos off of winning the AFC conference. You can't tell me they didn't. You couldn't tell me they didn't. They playing at home. It's prime time. It's Christmas. I think the Broncos were still a little full from Christmas dinner. They haven't traveled to KC. It's not easy to play on the road on a Thursday already, but you playing on Christmas. You've been opening gifts all morning. No, actually, they was on the road, so they flew in already. But, man, it's just ruining your holiday. You're not really happy to be out there. It's cold. It's miserable. So the Broncos, they took a little time to get right. It's okay. It's what you do in the fourth quarter. It's not what you do from quarter 1, 2, and 3, unless you're getting your ass blown out, but it's how you finish. Now, the defense did what they had to do, right? 139 total yards from the Chiefs. That's total passing and rushing. Like, what? That's screams best defense in the league. 139 total yards, 57 passing, 82 rushing. Hey, what more do you want? Now, guess how many total yards we had? 303 in a win. So, Bo Nix went out there. He did his thing, 26 of 38 for only 182. 1 TD, 1 interception. But those moments are the most important. What you do in the moments where you need touchdowns. He had 2 big touchdown drives, one to close out the first half and one to close out the second half and win the game, right? He dared, and the Broncos dared Chris Oladunkin to go down and have a game-winning drive. And he couldn't. And that's why we won. And that's why we're a top team in the AFC. But honestly, the drive that we went down and scored that last touchdown, we used the Chiefs' aggressiveness against themselves. We took their best player and made him jump off sides. Now, I'm sitting at home like, hey, take the money. Just kick the field goal. This quarterback they have can't even get downfield and kick a field goal. But Sean P. was a little bit smarter than your boy because he said, we're going to at least go out there and make it look like we're going for it because it's 4th and 2, and a lot of teams will go for it analytically, right? You let the dweebs do all that stuff. Analytics say you can get it on 4th and 2, but he say, hey, we ain't finna go. We gonna make them jump off sides. And the dog of their defense, we got his ass. We got him. We got him. What was that movie clip, Germ? We got him. We gotta add that in, Mello. We got him. I'm gonna send you that clip later. But anyway, we got him, man. We got him. Made him jump off sides, got the first down, and then we scored the TD and made it damn near impossible for the Chiefs to come down and match that TD, man. And that's what I'm talking about. Playoff ready. We are playoff ready. We've been sharpening our iron all season with these one-score wins. Our scales are getting hard like dragon scales because we've been going through that fire. And when them playoffs hit, we're going to be right. Now, you look at this AFC, right? Who's in our way? Who is in our way? Nobody. You can say the Jags, oh, they beat you at home. Hey, the Jags could never beat us again. I'll tell you that right now. Everything has to go in their way to beat us again. The Texans, they're playing okay. They're playing some good ball, but nah, we already got them boys. The Chargers, we're going to see their ass next week and put BTA. BTA. And the Bills, man, who trusts the Bills, man? Do anybody really out there trust the Bills? I mean, I know Josh Allen is a dog, but either he hit or he missed. And that loss today, where the Eagles played good run defense, pretty much just played good run defense and let Josh Allen lose the game. Jalen Hurts, be Jalen Hurts. That is my quote I've said forever. Now, be Jalen Hurts, you can win. Don't ruin it. You don't have to always go out there and win it all. For example, let's get to that game. Matter of fact, since we talking about it, we might as well get to that game. Now, the Bills are not for real. They're not a for real threat. They're not a serious threat to the AFC chip. And I'm going to call it how I see it. They win and then they lose. They win and then they lose. They lose in the same way they win. Relying upon Josh Allen at all times, especially when James Cook is not slicing and dicing. If you can stop James Cook from slicing and dicing and stop the run like the Eagles did today, you have a great chance of winning the game. And another thing the Bills like to do, they like to go for it on 4th down a lot. I don't know what the numbers are, but when I watch the game, it's like they go for it on 4th down a lot. And today, it bit them in the ass. It bit them right in the ass. Like Forrest Gump. Something bit me. Something bit me. It jumped up and bit me. Yeah. That was a Vietnam bullet. Bit him right in his ass. They had the opportunity to put 3 points on the board when they were down 13-zip. They had the opportunity to put 3 on the board, but what they do, they go for it, and they don't get it. Now, I know you like, in Josh Allen we trust, but man, look, at some point, it's going to miss. At some point, he's going to miss, and you can just wait on it. You could just wait on it. It's going to be his time, and it happened today. Now, Philly defense, they came up to play. And that's what this how Philly wins games and how they should win games. Let your defense go out there, especially that D front. The boy Jalen Carter was on fire. The whole front was really on fire, but Jalen Carter was pushing the pocket, and guess what the Eagles did? contain rush. They did not let Josh Allen find lanes. They did not let Josh Allen get outside and scramble for big yardage, even though, he did have 74 yards rushing. But that was 20 rushes. Why does my quarterback have 20 rushes? Oh, never mind. That was James Cook. He was 7 for 27, so I take that back. He only had 27 yards. It's not rocket science. Contain rush. Just like the Niners did Caleb Williams at the end of the game. Contain rush. Do not let these quarterbacks get outside, find receivers late. They do not want to sit in the pocket. I would dare to say they can't sit in the pocket. But that's just me. That's just TJ Ward. That's just what he sees when he watches football. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, the 4th and goal at the end of the 3rd, look, you went for it and you failed, right? And then when you do get the ball, you go down and Josh Allen has a nice drive. Jalen Carter blocks the extra point. And that was another ass-biting moment. That beat you in the ass again. Pushed the pocket, and he blocked the extra point. Now, that's 4 points you could have had. And instead of scrambling to get that 2-point conversion, you would have already been in the lead if you would have made those 2 plays. And that's special teams. Special teams, what? Be special. Be special. Let your kicker kick the short field goal, 1, and don't get the extra point blocked. 2, that's 4 points. You lost 13-12. You add 4 to that. You know what that is? That's 16-13, and you win the game. Now, I ain't no rocket science. I ain't no trigonometry major. I could count, though. 16 is more than 13, right? Now, let's look at some of these numbers. The Eagles beat you guys with 190 total yards. 190 total yards. You know why? Because Josh Allen fumbled the ball in a key moment in the red zone or in the fringe area, and the Eagles picked it up midfield because he's trying to do too much. Like always, he's trying to do too much. And I ain't going to say that it's unwarranted, but it's just what is demanded. It's what the Bills demand from Josh Allen in order for them to be competitive. And sometimes it shoots them in the foot. Now, all you have to do is capitalize off of these turnovers. The Bills had 331 total yards, 211 passing, 120 rushing. But guess what? They couldn't score in the red zone. They couldn't score in the red zone when they had all those trips and in between those 331 yards. We talked about the Seahawks game a few weeks ago with the Rams, and everybody talked about Matt Stafford and how many yards he threw and this and that. But guess what? When they got inside the red zone, they couldn't score. They were kicking field goals. And guess what the Seahawks were doing? Guess what Sam Darnold and them was doing? Scoring touchdowns, whether it was a big play or not. And you look up and you have all these yards, and it looked amazing throughout the game, but you lose. You lose. You lose. And that's just what it is, right? I talked about James Cook. He better go over 100-some yards if you want to win. He only 20 carries for 74 yards. If it was me, I would have gave the boy more carries, especially in that weather. 20 carries not enough. He should have had 30 carries. He should have had 30 carries in that weather. Now, you may say the Eagles, they were doing pretty good against the run, but it only takes James a couple carries to find a seam and get loose. And if you gave him 10 more carries, I think he does that. I think he finds a couple seams in that defense, and now that 74 turns into 120, 130. You win the game like that. I'm just saying, what do I know? And you know what I like? A.J. Brown was under 100 yards receiving. The Eagles win when A.J. Brown's under 100 yards. He was 5 for 68. Now, Brandon Cooks, he stepped up. My dog Cooks, Oregon State guy, played at Oregon State with my younger brother. B. Cooks is a great dude. He's been having a few rough weeks since being in Buffalo, but he stepped up, and he was, Josh Allen's go-to today. He had 4 for 101. The deep ball, Josh Allen was able to just cock that thing back and let it go. And B. Cooks, looked like an image of his old self, because we all know he was a crazy deep ball threat in his prime, and he's still getting behind DBs. So shout out to B. Cooks. And hey, that's why I say the Bills not for real. That's basically what I gotta say about the Bills. I said it, and you go argue with your mama, okay? Argue with your mama, because I ain't arguing with you. Now, I'm not gonna talk about this game too much, but hey, the Raiders lose. Surprising? No. But it is surprising they lose to the Giants because they both are terrible. But Jackson Dart goes in there, goes into I didn't say Oakland. Dart goes into Las Vegas and beats the Raiders. Now, the issue or some issues brewing before this game, right? Max Crosby was put on season-ending IR. Mind you, the Raiders are closing in on that number 1 pick with that loss with intentions, right? They put their best player, Max Crosby, at least defense, their best player. No, he's their best player. They're on the whole team. Yeah, on the whole team. Put him on season-ending IR, right? Max says, I play football. There's no shutting it down for me. Now, hey, Max has been playing with a knee ligament that's torn, and he's going to need season-ending surgery eventually, right? Whether it's now or 2 weeks after the season. But hey, Max, I know you a dog. I know you one of them dudes that want to be out there at all times. I've dealt with this personally. When I was in Cleveland, my 3rd year and my 4th year of my contract year, they put me on season-ending IR. For what? I had a bone bruise 1 year in my knee. Could I have played? Most likely, but they shut me down. And I think this was before they started announcing the Pro Bowl so early. I think it held me out of my Pro Bowl my 3rd year, but that's neither here nor there. And then my 4th year, where I was All-Pro and made the Pro Bowl, they put me on season-ending IR the last 2 games of the season. But why? My best interest, man. And looking back on it, hey, it was the best decision for my career, right? We're thinking about my career. Now, you want to go out there and you want to help your team win games, but hey, who's to say you go out there and like most weeks, you still lose. You still lose, right? Now, you may have had some incentives tied into playing and some of those individual money makers that you could have hit in these last 2 weeks. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that. But at the end of the day, man, you need to be out there for them in the future when these games start counting. When they do get the pieces around you, and I say around you because you are the quarterback of that defense, you make that defense go, and everyone's looking for you for the big play when needed. And you spiritually and attitude-wise, you embody the Raider image. And that's just facts, bro. We know you like to put that patch on and be that guy, but man, health is wealth. And you need to be ready for the long haul. Now it looks like you may have a quarterback next year with this number 1 overall pick to help you. You may have a quarterback on the offensive side, because I don't know what Geno Smith been doing this year. I couldn't look. That whole operation offensively was trash. Now, whether it was Chip Kelly, whether it was Geno Smith, whether it's the GM, Tom Brady, the offensive line, nothing went right for the Raiders and their offense this season. But brother, Max, trust me, you are going to look back and say, hey, I'm glad I sat out these last 2 games, because we were going to lose them anyway. Even if you were out there, the Raiders are going to find a way to sabotage the game and make sure they lose. Jackson Dart went out there and put 34 up on you guys and blew you out, 34-10. Now, on the gridiron, we were saying, hey, should the Giants look to trade Jackson Dart? I said, hell no. Hell no. Because I think Jackson Dart has everything it takes to be successful in this league. And I've been saying that since he came in. The boy's a baller. He's a baller. Now, he needs some pieces around him as well. That's why you guys are both dueling it out for this top pick in the draft, because you're both trash and there's nothing else around. So don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Share it with your auntie. Go share this with your cousins. Watch it with your nephews and nieces, your brothers and sisters. Make it a family event, man. Don't just keep this greatness to yourself. Other people want to watch too. Make sure they get a little taste of safety first, man, and make sure y'all stay safe out there, man. Stay safe. It's a lot going on.